I'm just delighted to be here. This morning I'm talking to some of you, some of the students here. I felt very excited about talking, and now I feel more excited. I see both students. And first thing I wanted to talk about is, you heard that they gave a Nobel Peace Prize to me. For what? Lending tiny little money, very small money, to poor women. What a big deal to lend a few dollars to poor women. Why should they give a Nobel Peace Prize for that? Can you figure that out? What's so big deal about it? You can do it. Just go and give a few dollars to somebody as a loan. So unbelievable that for such a small thing, you can draw the attention of the world to be recognized by such a prestigious prize called Nobel Peace Prize. What is the significance of that tiny little money? Anybody could have done it, or probably anybody is doing it already. So if you can figure that out, what is the significance of that, then you will understand what this world is all about. It's significant because nobody lends money to a poor person, except the loan shark. Again, probably you're wondering, what is a loan shark? Loan shark is one who lends a small amount of money to a poor person, maybe $5, $10. When I say small, it's very small. $5, $10, $20. And in exchange, he grabs everything that the poor person has. And that's called loan shark. It's all over the world. It's not just in Bangladesh. Loan sharking is not a problem of one country. It's everywhere. It's right here in Tokyo. If you go around, you'll find out the loan sharks. You can read about it. Rich countries like Japan has that. USA, they call it payday lenders. One of the things the loan sharks are named at, payday lenders. They lend you money and charge you an interest rate which is unthinkable. 500%, 1,000%, 2,000%. It's crazy. That's what the world is all about. If you go to Philippines, they call it 5 and 6 system. The name of the loan sharking is 5 and 6. 5 and 6. That's the name of the business itself. Why is it called 5 and 6? Because you borrow 500 peso in the morning, 500 peso, which is like $10 or something like that. 500 peso in the morning. You pay $600 peso in the evening. Interest rate of 20% per day. If it is 20% per day, you calculate how much it is for a year. And it goes on everywhere. So what I did, I had no idea how all these things work. Not that, don't think I'm a smart guy, knows everything about lending money. I know nothing about lending money. I had no knowledge about it. But I jumped at it because I saw such a terrible thing happening to people in the village. So I started lending my own money so that they don't have to go to the loan shark. And that was the beginning of what is now became known as microcredit or microfinance. How much money I lent in the beginning? First time I did, I lent $27. Imagine, $27. Given to how many people? 42 people. $27 to 42 people. See how small that loan is? But that created such a sensation. People never thought anybody would do such a thing. And I did it. I had no idea what it would lead to. But seeing that sensation in the people, I continued doing that, lending more money to people. And the more money I gave, more people came to me to borrow more. And after a couple of months, I ran out of my money. I gave all the money away. So I went to bank to tell them, why don't you lend the money? I don't have any money left. Said, no, bank doesn't do that. This is not the job of the bank. So that was again a big shock. And after months of negotiation, I offered myself as a guarantor. I'll sign all your papers. I take the risk and you give the money. If somebody doesn't pay you back, I'll pay back. So that risk I took. I said, I'll sign every piece of paper you give me. Because I was desperate to make it happen. And finally, bank agreed to accept me as a guarantor. And that was the beginning. And later on, we created our own bank called Grameen Bank. Today, Grameen Bank has 8.5 million borrowers. 8.5 million borrowers. Almost all of them are women. 97% of them women. And it grows and grows all over the country. We have 25,000 staff, employees in the bank. We work in every single village of Bangladesh. What is so special about this bank that people have to pay so much attention to this? And how did I create that bank? How does someone design a bank which works for the poor people, poor women? It must be a very complicated system. It must be thinking how to make it happen. No, I didn't do any of those. I didn't think very much. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about banking. So when I'm designing it to make it happen, what did I do? Since I don't know anything, I just look at the big banks, conventional banks, how they do it. Once I look at it and find out how they do it, I do just the opposite. And it worked. They go to rich people. What did I do? I made it the opposite. I went to the poor people. They worked in the city center, the most prosperous part of the city. That's where the banks try to set up their branch. We did the reverse. We went to the remote village where nobody goes. We started there. We always worked in the village. We never worked in the city. Even today. It's about 38 years now. We are all over Bangladesh, but not in the city. Still in the village. So it's again opposite. Banks in Bangladesh lend money to men. We turn it around. We said we lend money to women. So it's not only poor, it's also poor women. Again, reverse. So everything that we do is just the opposite. When you borrow from a bank will always ask you how much wealth you have, how much position you have. The more position you have, more wealth you have, they give you more money. If you don't have anything, they will not even talk to you because there's no business with you. You have nothing. Why? Because they need something called collateral. If they want to lend you some money, they want to see how much wealth you have so that you can guarantee this money against your wealth. That's called collateral. So entire banking in the world is done on the basis of how much you got. Because the lawyers will come and make sure all your possessions that you have now is in the hand of the bank. And bank give you the money against your wealth. So without collateral, banking system doesn't work. What did we do? We said, forget it. We don't need any collateral. We lend money without collateral. In other words, we're not looking for how much you get, because poor people have nothing. So if you're looking for anything to give loan, you will never give them loan, because they cannot show you anything. So we dismissed it. We don't need any such thing. We give it just on the basis of who you are, and lend money. So again, we reversed it. They want collateral. We said we don't want collateral. They want to get to the richest person. We are going to the poorest person. We start lending money, first finding out in the village who is the poorest person, who is the poorest woman. That's where we start. Again, we reverse it completely. Banks are usually owned by rich people. Poor people don't own a bank. If you own a bank, you must be a very rich person. Otherwise, you own a bank. We reverse that. We make Grameen Bank owned by poor women. Our borrowers are the owners of the bank. See? Banks will not even talk to her in a conventional sense. She will not be able to go anywhere near a bank. But now she owns a bank. She owns the biggest bank in Bangladesh. So we reverse that. So at each step, we reverse things. Since we do not have collateral, we don't need any lawyers, because you need lawyers to make all the documents, because bank has to take possession of your collateral and all that. So all your lawyers have to pour in the documents whether you really own this thing to check it out. So every bank you see in Japan or anywhere else, there are a lot of lawyers sitting behind to examine your documents. Does Grameen Bank have lawyers? No. Because we don't need any wealth. So we don't need any examination of those documents. So Grameen Bank is the only bank in the world which is lawyer-free. No lawyer. So the reason I'm saying all this, if you follow the same path, same rules, same procedures, you cannot solve the problem which is created by those procedures. You have to undo that. If it is going this way, by something that you created, it always pushes this way. You have to do everything the opposite to make it move that way. Otherwise, you do not go that way. So whenever you see something working and it's not to your satisfaction, you want to do it something else, one simplest way, reverse it. Do the opposite. It will take you back there where you want to go. Remember this. You will find many solutions of the problem that we have around us. We have created something else, problem in the world. We created a problem of business by creating business. Everybody is familiar with business. Japan is at the top of the business in the world. So it's fundamental thing about business. In business, you have to make money. That's what we are told, that's what your textbooks tell you. Profit maximization is the mission of the business. We have, in many universities, they have the business school. They teach their young people like you how to learn all the tricks of business, so that when they go out and join a business, they can make lots of money for the company, for the shareholders of those companies. That's your lifelong dedicated work. How to make more money for the shareholders. We see it created so much problems. By focusing everybody's mind in chasing money. When you are focusing everything about making money, you forget everything else. You forget about other people. You forget about the world, with the planet, about the poor, about the many other problems that you have around you. Because you are so busy making money. So in the process, you become like a robot. You see only one thing. You don't see anything else. What we did in our work, we tried to do the reverse. We tried to create business which doesn't care about making money. We create a business where I'm not interested in making a profit for myself. So it's not something for me. Why do I create a business then? I created a business for everybody else. In conventional business, everything is for me, nothing for others. So I'm all focused on me. So what we have done, we create a business where everything is for others, nothing for me. And we give it a name, call it social business. A business which is dedicated to solving problems. And that announcement that we had today, the signature that we put today, this university will be teaching social business. What is a social business? So that young people, like your friends, will be learning what is social business, how do you design a social business. There will be design competition results today. And that's something interesting, how you design it. Once this thing is in our mind, suddenly we see all the problems of the world can be solved. If we didn't have that, we're stuck. We don't know how to solve this problem. We give charity. Charity doesn't solve problems. Charity only maintains the problem. It doesn't solve them. In order to solve them, you have to create something which becomes sustainable. It grows by itself. That's what the beauty of the social business that you do. So we create a lot of those social businesses, many, many of them. And young people like you love it because they have lots of ideas. Ideas to solve problems, but they didn't know before what to do with those ideas. Today is possible. You create those ideas, bring those ideas, create business, and start solving business, solving problems. Then you raise the question, the problems are so big. You talk about poverty, then you talk about billions of people. How am I going to solve the problem of billions of people? This is impossible. Don't think that way. You look at the biggest problem possible. Okay, because the problem is big, you can't do anything about it. You think about it. Then you find the solution. Not for the big problem, but for a thin slice of that problem. Take a small piece of that problem and solve it. Think big, or the biggest possible, but start very small. What is the importance of doing small? Because it's doable, but the problem is so tiny, you start playing around with it. It's so fun to do that, solve it. If you solve that tiny problem, you got it made. Because now you have to repeat this, and repeat it, and the whole problem will be solved. To give an example, if you can find out a way how to take one poor person out of poverty, you figured it out how you did it. Then you have learned how to get a person out of poverty. Then you have to just repeat that process. You repeat the process, somebody else repeats the process, everybody else repeats the process. The whole problem of poverty is gone. So that's what the social business idea is so important. It looks very small today when the presentations will be made. It looks such a silly project. But that's the seed you are developing. If you can develop a seed, then you have a big plantation. It's easy. Without seed, you can't have a plantation. And you can make those seeds because your minds are very fresh. You can think differently. Thinking differently is very important. If you think the same way as everybody else thought, then you are stuck in the same circle. You can't get away. Break the rules. Get away from the way it is done. Say, why not this way? It's easy to answer why this way. It's because it's done. But to say why not this way is very important. Challenge the existing system. Challenge existing thoughts. Like we're saying, nobody in the world should be a poor person. In the beginning, people say, this is not possible. We feel it's possible. If you can take some people out of poverty, you can take everybody out of poverty. Repeat the system. And we say, we want to create a world where not a single person in the world would be a poor person. It's possible. It will not take centuries, it will take maybe 30 years, 40 years. We'll be done. We can have a world in your lifetime, a world, you cannot find a poor person anywhere. Then your children will be looking for poor people. They don't know what is this poor people my dad, my mom talks about. Then the moms and the dads have to take these children to the poverty museum. Because only place you'll see poverty will be in the museum. Like dinosaur. Is there any dinosaur in the world? No. Where do we see the dinosaur? We go to the museum to see the dinosaur. Otherwise we can't see it. And that's what we will do with the idea of poverty. It will be gone and we'll go and see poverty museums. Every country will create their poverty museum. This is what used to be poverty in our country. Now it's no more. Nobody will ever be poor again. Then we say, nobody in the world should be an unemployed person. There is no reason why anybody should be unemployed. Why should anybody be waiting for a job? Human beings are not born to work for somebody else. But somehow we are telling everybody, work hard, so that you can work for the best company in the world. Is it the fate of the young people just to go out and work for somebody else? That's again very misrepresented idea. Human beings are born to be go-getters, go and get things done. They are not born to serve under somebody else. Serving under somebody else could be a temporary thing, not the lifelong thing for anybody. I want to work for you, it's fine, but I can do things on my own way. I insist all human beings are entrepreneurs. So if you are training them to become job seekers, you are distorting the basic human being. Basic human being is somebody who is creative, somebody who creates things, enjoys being himself or herself. Job seeking is not part of that. Why don't we train or explain to every young person that you are not a job seeker, you are a job giver. And let him find out what you want to do. If you want to be a job seeker, these are the things that are needed. If you want to be a job giver, these are the things to be did. So we are challenging that. We are saying we can create a world where not a single person will be unemployed. Because unemployment means you're waiting for somebody else's decision. Human being doesn't have to wait for somebody else's decision. We make our own decisions. And we take care of ourselves. And we take care of the whole world. That's what the human beings are all about. So that's the challenge, to make that world happen. unless you think in such a big, bold way, we'll still be going through the same round of work that we see around us. But the young people today is much more powerful than ever before, because you have the technology in your hand. It's very powerful technology. And you have very powerful minds. Put together, you can have a dramatic change in the whole world. Wish you all the success. Thank you very much.